Okay, guys, here's a recap of what we did today, briefly. And I know that we didn't do quite the full hour because of the physical challenges, but we want to make sure that we give you a few pointers on the main thing to work on and to keep in mind. Okay, Pat on the right here. It's a habit for seniors, especially if you have a challenge with a physical challenge with your back, to lose your stance. So you see how you're above it, and when you come up, now you're really several inches above where you started. I had your head in this circle here, and now you're up in this circle here. So that's kind of enough to top that ball. Okay, so that's a real big thing in golf. You could see the professionals, their head would never leave this circle. And that's why it looks fairly easy that they make contact consistently, because they stay in that area right there. But you have a habit, and this could be a challenge because of your back. But, you know, if it was a challenge due to injury and not just a bad habit, I think you wouldn't even be able to do it there. You're keeping your posture pretty good right there. You just got to keep it a little longer. Like let your wrist hinge and get the club up, and the club come down to the ball. You would be better off doing it that way. Try your best in your backyard, in your lanai, in a house, a room in your house with tall ceilings. Anything that will help you practice that backswing. One more thing I want to point out for you is you have what's generally referred to as a flying elbow. If you could keep this elbow in a little bit better here, keep it into the side, it would put your club a little less steep. Your club gets really steep in a golf swing, so let me show you what I mean here. As he takes the club back here, the elbow stays really nice and close, and his forearm is vertical here. Okay, see, your forearm is horizontal because your elbow's out. It's pointing that way. His is pointed straight down at the ground. That's the correct position. Now, the more the arm, the right forearm gets horizontal, the steeper the club gets. So you're going to see what I mean when he comes down. And when you come down. Okay, so if you look at this closely, Pat, you see a club here on about 47 degrees, and you see yours in the same point in the swing at about 70 degrees. So if you can feel like you're doing it a little more sidearm, I also think if you flattened out your swing a little bit, it would probably help you stay in your stance a little bit. I think one of the reasons that you might be lifting is related to that flying elbow. You don't have to really go that far. That would be far enough. If this elbow were in and this club were more like this, I think it'd be a lot easier for you to get down to the ball. Because if you notice what happens for him when he gets to the top, watch his arms. They just fall. Boom, right back under his shoulders. All they do is fall. Right back under his shoulders because that club's on such a pitch. See, it's right through his forearm there. And when yours comes down, you see it's over there. So a steep club is hard to get consistently down to the ball. It's also probably one of the reasons why you pop up, because when the club is too steep, you'll stick it right in the ground behind the ball if you don't pop up. So you're kind of correcting a fault with a fault there. So I would like to tuck the elbow in and keep in your posture. Okay, those are two good things to work on. And for Ruth, I think the thing we can add, Ruth, is to come to a point where we can't add much speed as we age, but we can add the correctness of application of the golf club on the ball. And for you, that's in your wrist. It really is in your wrist. When you take the club back, you want to let the wrist hinge. They should already be hinged here. Okay, and they're still not fully hinged there. If they were, they would be like this. And as you start down, go ahead and let your wrist snap at the ball. Snap and then re-snap. I'd also, if I were you, Ruth, I would stand slightly closer to the golf ball than you are. You're reaching over, you're bending over too much this way because you're reaching out too far here. I would move in a little bit. And that would help you be a little more consistent too. So the two big things for you are to stand closer, try to get your body a little straighter if you can, and definitely learn to hinge and unhinge your wrist. You could do some hand exercises that would help that. Because the golf club, it only weighs some 12 ounces when you're holding it there, but it can weigh as much as 20 pounds when you swing it due to the centrifugal force of it. So your hands and wrists control that, and women struggle in that area as opposed to men. So I have a lot of my gal students, especially those the college students and those aspiring to play the game professionally, do a lot of hand and wrist exercise, and I think that would help you. Okay? So try to stay in your posture as much as you can by using your wrist, moving a little closer to the ball, and a couple times when you snapped it down there today, we got a little bit more out of it. But you see, the reason I want you to move into the ball a little bit is I want you to look where you're hitting that ball. It's just barely hitting the toe of the club because you're reaching over. If you stood in here a little bit, we'd get the center of that club, and that too would give you more distance. Okay? So you're going to move in, cock your wrist, snap it down to the ball. Alrighty, I hope that helps. Good luck with it.